Can't believe a month has flown by already from my arm and my back lift after losing 128 pounds, so let's do a little update. So on August 22nd, I went down to Orange County, California, and I had an extended brachioplasty, lateral chest wall lift, upper broad line back lift, and lipo in the arms with Dr. Michael Russo and Dr. Rona. I had my 4-week post-op appointment, so let's chat about that. Let's chat about what my surgeon and I talked about, along with some things I've discovered over these last 4 weeks. But before we get into today's video, if you've never seen my face before, hey girl, hey, my name is Janee, and I make a lot of content focused on fitness, wellness, and self-development, and helping you and I live our best healthy and active lives. So if that sounds like something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. I post a lot of different content over there. Give this video a big thumbs up and comment down below and let me know if you have lost a massive amount of weight or you're on a weight loss journey and you want to get plastics, you want to get your loose skin removed. What are some things on your priority list? So y'all know I have been actively posting on my other social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, and I've collected a lot of different questions over the last month. So I'm gonna try to address everything in this 1 month post-op video. For starters, why did I go with an arm and back lift first? Most people go with the tummy tuck, and a lot of people were interested, why did I decide to do it in this order? And it's because it was my biggest insecurity. So if you're walking into your own loose skin removal journey, I would advise you go with that. First, go with anything that's giving you some type of issue. So some people get skin rashes or irritation, or it's extremely heavy in certain areas like their legs or their stomach, and that's why they want to go with that first. Since I didn't have any of those type of issues, I went with what was my biggest insecurity, which has always been my arms. Now, I carry the bulk of my weight in my upper body. I'm an inverted triangle body shape. If you don't know too much about body shapes, I would advise you, and I could do a separate video on this if you want, so comment it if you're interested in it in the comments below. But I'm an inverted triangle body shape, and I would advise you to look into your different types of body shapes, because there's pear shape, there's hourglass, there's apple shape, and then there's me, inverted triangle body shape, where I naturally carry my weight in my upper body. My shoulders stick out further than my hips do. I've always been bigger on top. So all of my weight was up here, which means all of my loose skin was up here, which is why I wanted to address the top half first. Now, why did I decide to pair my arms and back together? Because it was the best scenario out of it. I was looking at arms and breasts, arms and stomach. I knew for sure I did not want to pair my arms and my stomach together. You use your core for a lot of things, and you use your arms for a lot of things. So when you get your tummy done, you're going to be relying on your arms. When you get your arms done, you're going to be relying on your core. And yes, I know plenty of people get this done together. Ask them their experience. They probably had a very difficult time, or they had to rely on people. I didn't want to do that. So what made sense to me was doing my arms and my back, because my breasts really don't give me too much of an issue, and I can pair that with my stomach later on in the journey. So let's jump into my scars. A lot of people want to see the results, the scars, how that is healing. So let me just show you. And again, I'm only 4 weeks post-op. I'm still in the recovery stage. I'm still in the swell health stage. So things will transform over the next few months. My doctor made me aware of that. My research made me aware of that. So this is my right arm right here. I did have a little opening right around here somewhere. I can't even find it now, right here. And I talked about this on my Instagram, so make sure you follow me over there, because the updates were over there. Now, as you can see, my actual scar, the lining is super straight. It's super thin, and it's starting to flatten out. Again, remember, I am still dealing with swelling. And the pinching that I was having in some of the areas are also starting to flatten out. Right here was pulled a bit tight, so it was a bit pinched. So I noticed that, but this has flattened out over the last 4 weeks as well. Now, before I move on to the rest of my scars, I am a black girl. I am a black girl. I am a black girl. I can't say that enough, because a lot of people are like, oh my God, your scars are huge. Actually, it's not. The actual scar of it all is thin. It's small. It's the way it's supposed to be. But for a lot of African American women, they deal with hyperpigmentation, which means any cut to your body darkens up. or they deal with keloids. I have never dealt with a keloid in my life. I've had my head busted open. I've had 2 C-sections, and I have my scars from weight loss surgery. None of them have ever keloid. None of my piercings have ever keloid. I've never dealt with it before, but I do deal with hyperpigmentation. If you look at my skin, I'm giving fresh face right now. You can see that there is some discoloration on my skin, even from acne scars, from scratches, anything like that. It just makes my skin darker. I knew that, so it's not a big deal to me. If I can show you here, you can see my weight loss surgery. I had the gastric sleeve marks on me still. I had 5. This is where they pulled my stomach out of me. This is 2.5 years later, and it's still a bit dark. I know eventually my scars will lighten up on its own, and I haven't done any treatments down here. I'm actually doing treatments here, and we'll get into that in a second, but I know my skin will eventually even out. It's not that serious to me. Here is my armpit. And I was really worried about this area because it is a known area for it to split, just because it's a high traffic area. It's an area that's pulled tightly. It's an area that needs time to be mobile on its own. And I'm still dealing with that. So I have to be careful. So I really thought that I was going to have an opening in my armpit, and I didn't. Knock on wood, I haven't in the last 4 weeks. I only had that opening right here in my arm. This is of the left arm. Again, that is what the scar is looking like. And my armpit. And a lot of people ask me about armpit hair, if I have less hair, if I'm going to have less sweat glands and all that stuff. How does it affect the lymph nodes? So they do, when they're doing an extended brachioplasty, they come down to the sides, which means they do kind of cut into the armpit a bit. I can tell in my own body that a lot of the skin that was here is gone, but I am still having some armpit hair. I can see that it's growing back already. It's mostly on this side. It's not really on the back side of the scar, actually. It's only on this side. So I know I'm only gonna have a little bit of hair in that area. My lymph nodes is not affected. They don't cut that deeply. If it's a good surgeon, they should not cut that deeply into your armpit to where it does affect your lymph nodes. With some of the skin missing, I'm sure I have less sweat glands, but we will see, because I haven't really sweated because I haven't worked out in these last 4 weeks to really see if that is a difference. Here is my scar from my lateral chest wall, and it comes under my breast just a little bit. Same thing on this side. And now here is my back scar. And I really deal with the hyperpigmentation in my back in comparison to my arms. On the side right here, you see that small dot is where the drain was at. That just closes up on its own and didn't need to be stitched. But I've never dealt with any issues in my back. It's been giving me the least amount of issues, swelling, anything like that. So I'm very happy with how my back turned out. I really was not expecting it to be as good as it turned out to be, but my doctors really did a great job. They really snatched me up, and the folds that I had on my sides, it really changed my shape. And it's crazy because it's like, duh, it makes sense that it changes your shape because it pulls you in. But I had these 2 little bunch rolls right here before my surgery. This is all flattened out. It's all flattened out, and I really do have more of a stitched in waist. I feel like with that, it gave me more of a booty pump, and so I can't wait to actually get my tummy done now that, the back has changed my shape a bit. Someone was asking me about the bra fat bulge that I have right here. So my doctors, we talked about this. We talked about trying to make this as small as possible, and this would get fixed with the back lift and with the armpit area as well. But they had to be careful with pulling me in too much, because then that messes up your breast and it makes your breast more lateral. But there is a significant difference between what I had before going into surgery and then now. And again, I'm still dealing with swelling. Now, further down the line, if this is still an issue that I want to address, if it's still there, I'm assuming that I can get it fixed with lipo. I know that there are some incisions that they can do to cut this out. I've seen them though. It looks a little So it's really not that serious to me to have to get it cut, but I would entertain the idea of getting it lipoed should I need to. Now let's talk about my arms, because I get a lot of commentary on my arms. Again, my arms are still healing, but if you watch my pre-op consultation video, it's like a 30-40 minute chat with my doctor. I will link it in the cards above for you, and my post-op appointment as well. If you looked at any of those videos and you saw my arms from pre-surgery, then you would know my arms were a very difficult case. And it was difficult because I not only had to hang horizontally and coming down like this, but I also had to hang vertically, and it was going over my arms. I was just a big arm girl. My arms were 20 inches in circumference before I even lost the weight. And after I had lost the weight, it was at like 14 inches. Now I think I measured it and it's like at 12 inches, something around those measures. So they took 2 inches off of my arms. They lipoed a pound of fat off of my arms, and then they took all of that skin as well. Something else with my arms is that I have pretty thick forearms as well, but I don't have a ton of loose skin here, not enough to where he wanted to cut into this and just extend down my scar. My skin is pretty tight and taut here. So he wanted to make my arm be aesthetically pleasing and be symmetrical. He could have been very aggressive and made this super tight. I think he took more of a conservative route and made sure that this looked, nice and, again, symmetrical to my body on both sides. And my right arm was bigger than my left arm too. What he explained in those consultation videos was that it's hard in one procedure when you have arms that look like mine to take away the loose skin but also lift the arm. That is difficult to do without making it look a little funky. And what I mean by that is bunching. So if you watch the videos, then you'll see what it is that he talked about, because he literally showed it on my body. So I'm not going to even deep dive into it. Just watch the videos. But as he was pulling me on the surgical table and getting as much as he possibly could, he saw that there was bunching as he was pulling up, bunching in my armpit, which ended up landing right into my lateral chest wall, which is why it goes under my breast tissue. And he was able to cut out that bunching triangle. And so later on, if I do want to have a breast lift, it folds exactly where they would need to cut anyway for the breast lift, because you get a anchor or a T incision. And in my week 1 post-op video, we did talk about the possibilities of revision. Of course, he told me that he would not do anything to my body until a couple of months, give my body time to heal and for the swelling to go down. But now that they did the horizontal cut, they can do as many vertical cuts as they want to. So in not really this arm, I really don't have too much of an overhang. It's pretty flat. But on this side, I do have a good amount of overhang. Now, this could be swelling, but I also think he kept calling it redundancy of the skin. So I do believe it's that as well. But later on, he can either do lipo to flatten it out if it's just a fat deposit, or he could do incision horizontally to cut out the extra skin. We won't know until we see what my arms end up shaping out to be later on. I've seen a ton of other different arm lift types of incisions. Some people do it like this way. That way it can lift the arm. Now, I do still have heaviness in my arm. I always have. And so I'm like, look, my arms have never been perfect. When I was smaller, when I was bigger, with my loose skin, and even now, I don't expect perfection. My goal was to always make them to where I was happy within my own body and confident in my own body. And if I had to leave my body exactly the way it was now, I'm fine with it. It's people on the internet that have an issue. And so I'm so excited to see what my arms are going to end up shaping out to be once the swelling goes down, but once I'm also able to get into the gym and start weight training and putting back on my muscle. So let's jump into that, because like I said, I did have my 1 month post-op appointment with my surgeon, Dr. Russo, and we talked about how the recovery stage is going to look moving forward. So I am still in my compression for 6 weeks. So I still have 2 more weeks to where I need to be in my compression pretty much 24/7. I'm only out of it now because I'm showing y'all this video, but I'm pretty much in it 24/7. Not only that, we removed my surgical tape at the 2-week post-op appointment per my surgeon, which is what made the opening happen, because one of the scabs peeled off really badly and it kind of like just had a small opening. But we took off that surgical tape, and I've been bouncing back and forth between silicone tape, which if you have any recommendations of silicone tape, let me know in the comments below, because I've been leaning more towards the silicone scar gel. I do that 3 times a day. I like that better, but I do still want to put on tape because I don't like when my clothes rub against my incision. So let me know if you have a tape that you recommend. When it comes to my activity, which was the thing that I was, stressing about the most, because I have put on some weight. I'm at 171.2. So I put on a good 10 pounds. Now, of course, it's swelling, but it is a lot with my food choices. Something, and I'll get into this a little bit later in the video, but something I discovered with this recovery journey is that it is mental. It is more mental, but I'll talk about that here in a second. But yes, I put on 10 pounds. I want to start moving my body more. And so he cleared me to do all cardio. Cleared me to do lower body weights. He cleared me to do core, but nothing strenuous to my upper body until at least 6 weeks post-op. But I can do light weights and I can do resistant bands. And he also told me that now's the time to start stretching and start challenging my mobility in my arms, specifically in my armpit, because you can develop a scar contracture, something like that, where the scar gets so tight to where you actually start to lose the range of motion in wherever the scar is at. And that tends to happen in the armpits. So I have to start, doing small circles of my arms, start stretching my arms, not going past certain limits, but just making sure that I'm starting to stretch out my arms a lot more so that I can start pushing past that and getting the full range of motion in my shoulder and armpit. So at first, for the first 4 weeks, he did not want me to reach above 90 degrees, but now I can start challenging that. I can tell you that in the right arm, because I'm right-handed, I have more range of motion in my armpit than I do in my left arm. So I have to start doing more things with my left hand, just so that I can get used to using both of my hands again. So when it comes to my range of motion, this is pretty much how far up I can stretch this arm before I start feeling it in my armpit. However, it's kind of even, but I have to take it slow on the left side, and it's still a little lower than the right side. Somebody asked me if I'm going to be working with a physical therapist for this. No, I don't need to, unless I were to get a scar contracture. Let's talk about sleeping, because if y'all watched any of the vlogs from my recovery, y'all know I had to sleep pretty much in a beach chair position. That has stopped at about 2 weeks post-op. Once I was in my bed, that pretty much stopped, after 2 weeks post-op. So moving into my 3rd week, I still do, however, sleep with pillows under my head because it's a little bit more comfortable. I don't know, laying flat down feels really weird, and it's hard to get up because my body gets stiff and my scars get stiff, so it's hard to get up. So I do sleep with 3 or 4 pillows under my head and back. I still sleep with pillows at my sides just to make sure my arms are pretty much at heart level for elevation and for swelling when I'm sleeping, but I'm not as far up as I was. When it comes to compression, I'm still wearing my arm faja, and I moved on to these sleeves right here. This arm faja, I did a separate faja haul video, so I'll link it in the cards above, but I did move on to these sleeves. I find these to be a lot more comfortable than the actual arm faja. Caveat to that, because I did tell my surgeon about this, I'm not dealing with any swelling right here, and I'm not dealing with any swelling in my back. It's really just my arms. And so the arm faja started getting really uncomfortable in the armpit, and I just felt like it really wasn't pressing my arms the way I liked it to. It's weird. It's weird. It's kind of like, if you know, you have to like go through it to see what will be comfortable for your body. As soon as I bought the arm sleeves, which was this previous week, it was perfect. It was more comfortable. I felt like I was getting even compression throughout my arm. When I would take off the sleeves, I wouldn't have like these random marks in my arm because of the fajas or whatever and the swelling. Like, it just works out better. However, I am going to go back into the jacket once I start working out, just because I know I will end up probably swelling around here. I don't know about the back. I've never had any issues with my back, but sometimes I get like minor swelling here, depending on if I had too much sodium, or just like as the day goes on, I'm a little bit more puffy than when I woke up. And so I know when I work out, I tend to get puffy anyway. So just to help compress everything, I am going to do that while I'm working out, and maybe like for a few hours after. And then depending on how the day goes, I'll probably transition to the actual arm sleeves. But we'll see, because me working out is like, it's new. I haven't even done my first workout yet. Let's talk about the things that I'm going to be using on my body to lighten up my scars and my scar treatment. I have some vitamin C here. This is the brand of vitamin C that I'm using, and I use this during the day, and then I seal it in with my silicone scar gel that I got off of Amazon. I showed y'all in my Amazon plastic surgery haul. And then at night, I seal it in with tretinoin. You have to get a prescription from your doctor for tretinoin. And then again with silicone scar gel. And then in the middle of the day, I just put on silicone scar gel. This is also the tape that I got off of Amazon in that haul. I'm really just not a fan of it. I'm going to try it again, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of this one. So if y'all have one that you really like, let me know. Now, the key to any scar is making sure that you're keeping it hydrated. So I have been using Aquaphor Healing Ointment. I do scar massages at least once a day. So I just take the Aquaphor and really just massage it in to my scar, specifically in my armpits, to try to loosen up my armpits a lot more. And I feel like it has been working, so I hydrate my scars with this as well. I'm trying to think if there is anything else that I have left out or forgotten. To be honest, this last month has been a roller coaster in my emotions. So let's talk about the mental toll that surgery has on you. Now, I've been warned about this. I have a few friends who have had plastic surgery after their loose, having their loose skin removed and all that stuff. And my doctor even talked to me about this, like the mental toll, especially when you lose a massive amount of weight and you were in a routine. For me, I eat very clean. I work out. Y'all watch me in my vlog series where I'm showing you how I lost weight and what I'm doing to maintain my weight. And so like when you are rocking it and you're in this new lifestyle, and I've been in my new lifestyle for the last 2.5 years after having bariatric surgery, like it's a part of you. It's your new coping mechanism and all that stuff. So when you have that taken away from you, as much as you know about it, you don't know how it's going to affect you. And so it really did affect me mentally. Like at 2 weeks, around the 2-week mark post-op, when I had the little opening, when my swelling was like out of control, like it really was taking a toll on me. And I was talking to my surgeon about it, because I thought he was going to clear me to do some lower body light cardio then. And he's like, no, with like the swelling that you have, no, pretty much no. Like you need to rest and compress. And I'm like, I'm doing that. I'm resting. I'm compressing. I'm not doing anything. To the point to where I was like just in the house, on the bed or on the couch, not moving, barely probably getting 1,000 steps in per day. But I mean, listen to your surgeon, because it worked out. With time, things worked out. But it's so easy for old habits to creep back in when you're going through it mentally. For me, what was the crazy thing about my journey was the way I used to cope my feelings, and that was through food. Like I would boredom eat, I would emotionally eat. And so I was bored. I was bored for 4 weeks. I've been bored in the house, bored. And so that graze eating, that eating and I'm not hungry, the not picking the right choices, like that definitely had creeped back in, which reflects on the scale. So I know I talked about the 10-pound weight gain I had. A lot of people are like, don't be hard on yourself. It's swelling. Yes, it's swelling, but you also have to know what you've been doing. And I know I've been bullshitting. I'm not moving my body. That's not on me. But I'm also not picking the greatest food choices. That's on me. So I am happy to finally feel better mentally. I force myself to come to terms with, you are healing. You need to give your body time to heal. And so once I kind of just got over it and let it be what it was going to be, things started to calm down for me mentally, started making better food choices because my gut health was telling me girl. And so, yeah, now that I'm clear to move my body more, I am going to start my AIP diet, which I did a video on anti-inflammatory diet because I do have Hashimoto's disease. And so I am going to get back on my AIP diet. It helps with inflammation too, so I'm sure it'll help reduce some of the swelling that I have. But I really just need to get my gut health together, okay? Because some other random things that I was dealing with throughout this last month was the skin flakiness. If you watch my week-to-week updates on my Instagram, then you would have saw I had this crazy skin flakiness on my arms. And a lot of people were telling me that's due to the swelling. The skin is stretching out so much. I don't know why it cracks the skin a bit, but I was having so much flakiness. But that has calmed down since my swelling has calmed down. So I guess they were right with that. Body odor, oh my God. I have not used deodorant in the last 4 weeks. Mostly because I was just scared. And I also haven't been using lotion on my skin in this area to help with the skin flakiness. Mostly because I just didn't want to introduce anything to this area as I'm healing, especially because I had that opening, especially because I knew the armpit was an area that could open. It's a dirty area. And so I just wanted to avoid anything that would bring bacteria. So I haven't used deodorant, but the body odor, oh my God, the body odor, you guys, crazy. Something else that I have been dealing with is itchiness. I have been so itchy. And in my Amazon haul video, I bought a Benadryl itch cream. I've also been taking Benadryl pills at night. I do 2 per night because normally I get itchy at night. The itchiness probably comes from dry skin, which is why I use the Aquaphor on this area. But I don't know. It always only happens to me at night. So I take the Benadryl. When it gets really bad, I use the itch cream. And it has calmed down. When it came to pain meds and stuff like that, I was off of it pretty much at 5 days post-op. I here and there take Tylenol. It's a Tylenol Motrin dual thing. So it helps. The Motrin helps with inflammation. The Tylenols with pain. They're both pain relievers. So when I am out and about with my family, like my daughter, she plays volleyball. So we're out and about and my body is not used to being out and about. I tend to feel a little bit more sore and my arms feel a little bit more in pain because I'm also not elevating. So that's when I'll take the dual action, but that's only as needed. I'm trying to think if there is anything I have left out. I feel like I have covered everything in this 1 month post-op appointment. And so the next time I talk to my surgeon is at 3 months post-op. But again, I have access to him should I need him or if I have any questions or anything pops up like that. But yeah, at this point in my journey, I'm happy with my results. I'm happy that I talked to my surgeon about possible revisions should I need them in my arms. I knew that my arms was a difficult case. So we'll just see what it ends up looking like later on as I move in. Of course, I'm going to be showing y'all my journey in my vlog series, my discipline diaries, showing y'all life after massive weight loss, after loose skin removal, and then you know, losing this last bit of 10 pounds again and just getting back into my fitness routine. And I'm going to be showing y'all, sharing all the deets and the tea. So make sure you subscribe and all that good stuff. And if you do have any questions, just throw them in the comments below and I can do a follow-up video should there be a lot of questions or anything like that. But that is it for this 1 month post-op update. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that bell icon, that way you're notified every single time I post a new video. Make sure you follow me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. On TikTok, I'm always hosting lives and answering your questions in a moment. And on Instagram, I'm super active in my stories. I do have a broadcast channel that end up knowing the tea first, so make sure you follow me over there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.